So let's go ahead. Oh, I'm not sharing, am I? Am I sharing something?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. December the 3rd. And as usual, let's just start with a prayer. I put it over here on the screen. Let's close our eyes, calm our thoughts, and calm down our hearts. And think about the spiritual guides. Think about the higher spirits. Invite them to be here with us. Invite them to protect all the members who attended the meeting today, but also those ones who could not be here with us. So we ask, dear Jesus, protect them all, protect us, our houses, our family members, our friends. And we can also think about our mentors and ask them to fill this study today with peace, with growth, with love that we have for each one of us. Dear Jesus, may your blessings shower upon the whole world at this moment and grant upon each one of us this bright, healthy, charitable, and peaceful days to come. Please make our journey a happy one, not by shielding us from sorrow and pain, but strengthening us to bear it if it comes. Shine your light in us, through us, over us. Protect us, each member of this group. Protect our family members, our friends, from any undesirable influence. And we ask, Lord, for your guide, protection for our lives and the life of our family members and friends. Set your way before us, dear brother Jesus. May we make a difference in this world for your glory and purpose. And so be it.
And so it is.
So be it.
So it is.
Yeah, so okay, so last time I said we made it, so we had our meeting here in Houston. Was really nice. Okay, so why is not? I just want to remind you that okay, so I didn't hide the slides I was planning on hiding, but I just want to remind you that we have this suggestion, and several members of the group mentioned and agree with a second meeting or a next meeting. We do not say second, but a next meeting, late May 2023. Livia and Luis, they are very excited about it. So hopefully this time we can count on them to be here. Let's see how it goes. I put May, late May, because of the weather, because it's like, close to vacation or summertime vacation. Let's see how it goes and if it's gonna work, but it's just a suggestion.
Anna.
Yes.
Leda is preparing herself to stay with us in the next meeting.
Yes, I'm glad. Yeah, she's a really good addition to the group. The other thing that I would like to remind the group, next Saturday, there will be this lecture from Dr. Décio Iandoli Jr. He is a physician, he is a professor in Brazil, but most interesting, he is the head of this association, medical spiritist association. In Brazil, all the spiritist doctors and physicians, they try to get together and hold these meetings among them to discuss not only medicine, not only, all the treatments, but also how to associate that with spirituality. So I'm very happy that Dr. Yandoli accepted our invitation. Myself, I have 2 books of him, and those books, they are not easy to read. I mean, it's amazing how much they know now about our body, the way that we react, the way that our body react and get sick or, is healthy based on the condition or the status of our spirit. It's amazing, all the knowledge, everything that they know. And Dr. Yandoli, Decio Yandoli, he will talk to us about reincarnation. And this is going to be a little bit different because although he knows English, but he is not confident that he can hold a lecture in English. So what we've done, he recorded this video to us in Portuguese. We got a guy that translated the video, and then there will be the sound of the interpreter on top of the video of the voice of Dr. Yandoli. So we are going to watch the video. I have not watched the video yet. I'm gonna watch with the group as well. And then at the end, Dr. Yandoli will be there with us, and the Q&A session will be like, we will translate. So Luis and myself will help with the translation. It's gonna be, a very informal discussion, but then we'll have to translate to him the questions, and we'll have to translate to the group into English his answers. So I'm really I'm looking forward for that, because it's going to be a little bit different. Let's see how it goes. Hopefully it's going to work very well. But I had a chance to to be in his lecture here about reincarnation. He held this same lecture in Dallas, and I went to Dallas to see him. And it is amazing. It's really nice topic, the way that he presents. So I highly recommend this. It's going to be next Saturday. And a reminder, so we are going to have Dr. Yandoli on the 10th, and then there will be a meeting on the 17th. And then there will be a recession, a vacation period between that and 17th is going to be the last meeting, and then we'll be back on the 21st of January. Okay. So if you call in and you don't see anybody, don't panic. We will be off.
Good.
Yeah. So we have Laura, we have Debbie as well. Welcome, guys. Hey, Debbie. We cannot see you, but as long as you can hear us, awesome. Okay, there's Debbie. Hey, Debbie.
Yes, I hear you.
Awesome. Okay, so last time we stopped here, law of destruction. The topic was cruelty, and the question was 753. Why is cruelty the dominant characteristic of primitive humans? And the answer of the spirits: among primitive peoples, as you call them, matter overpowers the spirit. They surrender to their animal instincts And as they only care about their physical lives, they think only of self-preservation. This normally makes them cruel. In addition, people whose development is still imperfect are under the influence of imperfect spirits, with whom they attune until more advanced people arrive and destroy or weaken that influence. But evidently, we know that the advanced people will be able to influence us as long as we are in tune with them, right? So everything starts with us. So with that, let's go ahead and let me stop the presentation. And this, yeah. And the next one is this the last one? No. 754, does cruelty indicate the absence of moral sense? Any comment before we go to the answer? Does cruelty indicate the absence of, yes, Hyacinth, please.
Yes, I think definitely.
Yeah.
Because I think today's people in power have no morals. They do what they want to do for their own ends, not for the good of the people.
Yeah. Yeah, I had several examples crossing my mind right now. I just don't want to mention because I want to keep my spirits high.
Yes.
Maria, please.
Are you listening me, Anna?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. The humanity nowadays,
The humanity.
the men are the same primitive spirits who are still reincarnating to perfect themselves, including us. But we can't still witness acts of cruelty because many spirits that are farther from perfection for allowing,
farther from
from perfection, for allowing themselves to act like that. We are trying to do the best we can to be good. And as the earth advances toward the regeneration period, the presence of these spirits in the world will be replaced by other ones more committed to good. All right?
To do good,
Yes. Then I think that probably for some decades, how can I say?
Decades.
Yes. Decades. I think that for many decades, we will share the earth with these spirits. But when they discarnate, they don't come back to
earth.
No, they don't come back to the spiritual world place that they are coming from.
Yes.
They will go away from the planet.
That's a very nice point, Maria, because today that's I heard many people saying the same thing, and it makes totally sense to me. Today, as we transition to this regeneration world, and that's Maria's point, we see so many people behaving like things that we cannot imagine, you know, people today in this time still doing things that, you know, shock other folks, right? But the problem is, or the thing is, the fact, not the problem, the fact is, if we want this, if it is in the plan for the earth to move to a regeneration world, to develop, to go to another level, then we can no longer hold around the planet the same psychosphere, the same, say, spiritual environment that we have around this orb. Meaning all those spirits still staying in the zones, lower zones around Earth, will have to, like they say, this is their last opportunity, so they will have to incarnate. This is their chance to show that they are willing to do good, they're willing to improve, etc., etc. They are incarnating, and this is the process, or this is how the higher spirits, they clean the psychosphere about Earth, around Earth. And doing so, those lower realms, they start to get empty. They start to get, it's like, imagine a room and you want to hold a very high level meeting in that room. So you have to get into the room, you have to clean, to empty that room and clean and prepare that room for the meeting that you're going to hold. So it's the same thing when you think about transition to regeneration. So we have several lower zones around the psychosphere of Earth. And what happens is we have all those spirits, they are incarnating here. So those lower zones, they will be empty. And then the higher spirits, they start preparing those areas, those zones, to become something better, to perhaps be a place for new astral cities, you know, better places. And only by doing that, you know, by improving the psychosphere around Earth, then that's one of the steps towards regeneration. So that's why today we see so many people, odd people, weird people behaving. So we, you know, remember, those are spirits that they had to come from those lower zones, and that's how it is. That's the process. But I think on the 17th, I will bring a slide showing the development of the spirit and all the levels for spirit development, and where we are, and talk about this. I put some notes over here so we can talk about this. It's a very interesting topic, since we are talking about cruelty and those kind of things. Anybody else? No?
Anna,
Yes.
let me see how I can say it. In the 80s, década de 80.
80s?
Yes.
80s?
Chico Xavier received a message from the spirit. His name is Longinus.
Longinus, yeah.
Yes, this spirit in his last reincarnation was Dom Pedro I. No, perdão, Dom Pedro II.
Dom Pedro II, yeah.
That made the independence from Brazil, from the Portugal.
No, it's Dom Pedro I.
Pedro I? Então tá. Bom, Dom Pedro II, like Longinus, told in a message that was published by Brazilian Spiritual Federation,
Mhm.
that after the Second War,
Mhm.
began a time to Earth that the maioria
Yeah.
majority
Majority.
of spirits that are have cruelty are exilados. How can I say exilados?
Exiled.
Exiled from the earth.
Mhm.
If we think about it, we have 70 sete décadas, 70 décadas, como é que eu falo?
7 decades.
Yes, that the earth, the psychospheric of earth is cleaning by the
Oh.
by the spirits superiores.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right.
It's
It's
been
very important to us to know that the spiritual guides are working hard to offer us the conditions to do the best we can do today to give or to do a better earth tomorrow.
Yeah, for tomorrow.
Without many negative influences. They are cleaning the astral spiritual
lower zone.
worth. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what Maria was saying is in the late 80s, through Chico Xavier, he channeled this message from the spirit called Longinus. Longinus is, we know, it is a spiritual guide of Brazil because for many, many past lives, he was, his lives were attached to the Brazil history. And one of his lives, he was the king that actually, the very first king in Brazil. And he was Portuguese, but then, history anyway. So he lived in Portugal. He was born in Portuguese, but then he grew up in Brazil, and he was declared the first king in Brazil. And actually later on, he declared the independence without any war. He was against those kind of things, but violence and such. But anyway, so in the late 80s, he sent a message through the mediumship of Chico Xavier, saying that after the 1940, after the 40s, or after the Second World War, the higher spirits, they started doing that cleaning that I was saying. They were going through the lower zones, and then they were cleansing those zones. They were working hard to do that cleaning in preparation to the transition to the world of regeneration. And that cleaning has been happening for 70 years, seven decades, and this is still going on, and will continue. I believe it will be there. Chico Xavier mentioned that this cleaning will be happening until, I guess, it's 2020, the 2043, something like this. So that will be 20 more years still. So, yeah, thank you, Maria. So the question is, does cruelty indicate the absence of moral sense? And the answer is, you can say that a moral sense may not be developed, but do not say that is absent. Its principle exists in every human being, and over the course of time, it makes beings kind and human. It is, I'm sorry. It exists in the savage, just like a bud contains its scents before it blooms into a flower. And then the comment from Allan Kardec: human beings contain within themselves every faculty or ability in a rudimentary or latent state. These faculties develop according to the circumstances in which humans find themselves. The excessive development of some hots or offsets that of others. The overstimulation of the material instincts extinguishes the moral sense, as the development of the moral sense gradually weakens animal faculties. That is really nice, because it says that the comment is implying that the way that we were created, from the moment we were created, we had the seed for both, right? To do good or to do not to do good, according to whatever we choose, right? But is really promising for everybody. Unfortunately, we are not improving in the rate that we should. Yes, Maria.
My English is not
Sonia,
very good.
I see Sonia Rinaldi. Hey, Sonia. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. The spirit has the faculties for its personal development. He just doesn't have, they still strong enough to develop them.
Yeah.
Many people want a better world, a better condition, but one that comes from the outside in, not from their intimate world. But they are accommodated, accommodados, to do in themselves what they need to be better. We couldn't stay more with our braços cruzados, how I can say it in English?
What do you want to say? Because
Que nós não podemos mais ficar de braços cruzados, nós precisamos fazer a diferença.
Okay, so yeah, what she's saying is whatever it is, you know, if we want a better world, we'll have to do ourselves, we'll have to work on it. We cannot just sit idle and wait for somebody else to act on our behalf. Remember that, you know, a better world starts actually inside of each one of us, right? So as a matter of fact, the books that Maria publishes, most of them talks about inner transformation. It's all those channel books, they talk about inner transformation. It's a topic that has been very, very constant over and over. It's like the spirits, they still talk about the story of the people. They still talk about books describing some people past lives or things like this, but more and more they keep on saying, they keep on talking, calling attention to the inner transformation, the importance of inner transformation. All right, so, and then the next is 755. Why do we sometimes find individuals as cruel as savages in the most advanced societies. Any comment, anybody? I see Maria Castro. It must be a relative, Maria.
What?
No, I see someone else called Maria Castro connected. Oh.
Oh, all right, all right.
Hey, Maria. We must be relatives.
I have to improve my English.
Welcome. Welcome. So what, any comment here? Why do we sometimes find individuals as cruel as savages in the most advanced societies?
Yes, I can comment on that.
Yes, Giles.
When people are planning their incarnations, they sometimes bite off more than they can chew,
Yes.
and they don't listen to their guides' advice, which
Exactly.
says, this is maybe going to be too much for you. And they say, no, hold my beer and watch me.
Yes.
And then they find that they have bitten off more than they can chew, which means they arrive in a position of power and money and celebrity, which then goes to their head and they lose their balance.
Yes.
So we have to be careful when we're planning our incarnations.
Yeah.
I mean, I've put it as politely as I can. They don't actually torture people. They just mess things up,
Appreciate
starting with
that.
themselves.
Yeah, and yeah, that's exactly what, well, how you say, because either we are too optimistic about what we can and what we cannot do, or we feel too guilty and we feel the urgency, you know, to go ahead and repair our wrongdoing, and then no, we can handle, I can handle, but no, it's kind of way too much. Hyacinth.
You think that when you find that this is too much, I don't know, the people, I'm looking today at the people in power today. Do they think that they're mistaken, that they're misguided?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let
I
me
don't
add
think-
something, Hyacinth. I think the people in power today are as tricky and criminal as they've always been. The difference is today we know about it,
That's
whereas in our innocent youth 70 years ago, we didn't know about it. We believed the propaganda. That's the difference, I believe.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying now, it's manifest, and we talk about it and we see it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this is what I mean, that we are conscious of it because we have seen, I mean, years and years and years and years, because I see through all of this. The playbook is the same.
Yes, absolutely.
And the results are therefore the same, but we've now seen it. And this is
Yes.
what I mean.
So
And because
hooray
the
for
world is
internet.
now, and the world is now more connected and wider. So it seems greater.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, the human nature seems like didn't change much, right?
No, exactly.
Mhm.
And what I find myself saying, I pray for these people, because when they cross over, they won't be able to look at the light for eons.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah.
Yes, you're quite right, Hyacinth. That's something that I've always found odd about Christianity, or in the last 10 years, that nobody prays for Satan. He's supposed to be the top bad guy. Therefore, he deserves most of our prayers. But of
So,
course,
yeah.
for that, he has to exist. But Christianity pretends that he's there, first of all, very bad, and no prayers for Satan.
They pray to be protected from him.
Yeah. Exactly. But you know, when we do the prayers within the spiritist centers, we pray for the people doing. So for example, for this war with between the Russians and the Croatians, we pray for both. And we really pray for, you know, the Russians and their govern, you know, for the people doing, you know, the wrongdoings, because they also need to see the light. Right?
I
So,
tell you, Anna, we will soon see, it will soon manifest where the evil is coming from.
mhm. Yeah.
And are we going to be surprised? Some of us, not me.
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, there are terrible things happening in Brazil right now, and oh my goodness. So anyway,
Oh, no,
I want
it's
to keep
terrible.
my spirit high.
Yeah, no, it's terrible, but yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. Debbie.
Cheer us up with something, Debbie. Something cheerful.
Well, I just had a question. I wonder if y'all think that we can reincarnate into the past, you know, centuries before this century. I've just been wondering about that.
That's a very good question. I have read quite widely in automatic writings and have found no trace of that.
Oh, good.
Apparently, incarnations follow a logical order, which would otherwise make things very difficult to understand.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I am of the opinion that these things follow in a logical order. And if you want to reincarnate into the past, just reincarnate in Ethiopia or or Russia, for that matter, and there
Yeah.
you will find a strenuous situation.
Yeah, that's a good comment, Giles, because that's what I was about to say. If you want to, if you need, first, we do not understand very well what is the logical sequence that Giles was talking about, because we always have a different perspective. We do not know everything, so we will not understand what is the logical sequence for us. But also, if you want to, or if you need to experience something that you know lived many years ago, I think Giles is right. It's just a matter of position you in a different area in the world, still that, you know, still provides you that condition. You know, you cannot go back in time, but you can be placed in a country or in a region that will provide you with the same elements, so you can have that same experience. Or you can be relocated to another world. Like, we know we are not evolved world. The earth is still very low in terms of development, but there are others lower, even lower, and we can be invited to go to those places too. Yeah. But I don't think it's going to happen to us, because we are here studying. We are making sure this is not going to happen.
I just told my daughter, I'm sorry, I told her I wanted to reincarnate to somewhere that doesn't have the prey and the eating the prey whole thing.
Mhm.
So I hope that exists and I can go there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Debbie, let
yes.
me, in my, as I said, I have done considerable reading in that. There are thousands upon thousands of civilizations, and I use that word advisedly. That is real planets with real civilizations on them, unlike this one.
Mhm.
And those incarnations are much easier than an Earth incarnation, while still having the good effect of allowing you to make your spirit larger.
Yes.
But obviously not with the challenges that this planet provides, which is
Yeah.
why this one is so popular. If we can understand that, if we can get our heads around that idea. So you will see when you go home, you will see that there are myriad, thousands of different planets that you can incarnate on. And of course, you'll have a memory wipe when you're born, just because that's the second great miracle.
Mhm.
And therefore, you won't find anything unusual about it. It will just be the civilization you grew up in.
Mhm.
And it will be much kinder and nicer than this one.
Yeah, very well said, Giles, because as a matter of fact, there is a question in this book, I believe, that they are asking, Allan Kardec is asking about the emptiness in the space, and the answer is there is not such a thing, that every single corner in this universe, it has a purpose and it is populated. So, yeah. Hyacinth.
Yes, I will send you a video
Yes.
by Rauneli Lukanen. She's a Finnish doctor who has had vast experiences of all sorts of things, the past lives and all this, and as spacecraft, and she's been in spacecraft, she's been in all that. Absolutely incredible. And she is talking about just the point that Debbie asked about going back, because she says, yes, you can. It was very interesting. So perhaps you can look at it. It's an hour long.
Did you say you sent the video, because I don't see in the chat?
I haven't sent it.
Okay.
I will send it to you.
Yeah, please share with us.
Yes, that's right, Carol. You saw it last night. Mhm.
Okay.
Hyacinth, could you put the link in the chat?
Yeah, Hyacinth, it was over an hour. It was an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, almost 2
But
hours.
it was really, really, they went through so many subjects. And yes, I understood from her that that is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it doesn't suit my sense of logic, but that's a number of things that don't suit my sense of logic, like the moon being hollow.
But Giles, again, we're using our earthly human logic, which doesn't
yes,
compute.
of course. Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
It's what we know.
Yeah.
I'm not denying that. I'm saying that that according to my sense of logic, going back, having an incarnation in the past, it would be really confusing. That's okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Maria, please. Maria Castro.
Yes,
My sister.
yes, maybe. I do my best for you to understand, but I had an experience. When I was 15, I have a dream that I was called by telephone with my mother during the dream, and she was talking to me from the heaven. But in that time, I was 15, my mother was alive with me, living.
Mm.
But now, I have the chance to do this year. I receive a message,
Mhm.
and today I have yesterday I do a record for my husband about the possibility of talking with my mother.
Mhm.
She's died.
Mhm.
And he told me to talk today. I did it. And today I faced the record and I
You got
talked
it.
with a female voice. I think was my mother.
Maria,
But
why don't you say this in Portuguese and then Anna will tell us what it is. That way it's much easier for you.
Português.
Sim.
Ótimo. Então tá. Aí, quando eu tinha 15 anos, eu sonhei, né, que eu falava com minha mãe desde o céu, que ela me chamava.
Uhum.
E hoje eu fiquei muito emocionada, porque...
Maria, você fala, hablas espanhol?
Sim.
Sí, sí, puedes hablar en español.
Bueno.
Yo comprendo.
Entonces, sí, la dificultad no es el idioma, sino cómo expresar todo esto que no encuentro las palabras.
Claro, sí.
La dificultad es esa.
Sí.
Entonces, el tema así, que estaban hablando de reencarnar en otra época,
Ujú.
pero ¿qué sucede si vivenciamos? Hoy, por ejemplo, a mí me tocó vivenciar lo que yo soñé cuando tenía 15 años.
Ujú.
Y ese sueño, hacía poco tiempo que teníamos el teléfono en aquella época, ni
Ujú.
siquiera se hablaba de TCI, cuando
Sí.
yo tenía 15, tengo
Ujú.
62.
Sí.
¿Cómo pude haber sabido en aquella época
Ujú.
de la posibilidad de
Ujú.
hablar con mi madre fallecida, cuando
Ujú.
aún estaba viva?
Sí.
Y hace menos de un año vengo con la experiencia de poder tener la experiencia de comunicarme con Guillermo. Es una cosa que todavía me cuesta mucho de asimilar, porque llegó así de repente con grabaciones. Sonia consiguió imágenes de él. Entonces así, es de repente una convivencia, pero hoy sentí en carne propia
Ujú.
esta sensación de decir, hoy estoy comunicándome con mi madre,
Claro.
como yo viví cuando tenía 15 años. Eso, ¿qué tipo de experiencia puede ser? Porque cuando ustedes estaban hablando de la reencarnación en otras épocas,
Ujú.
ahí me vino, porque justo hoy yo tuve esa experiencia.
Sí. Sí.
Algún motivo tiene que haber habido
Sí, lo hay.
relacionado ese sueño con lo que estoy viviendo hoy.
Sí, lo hay. Mira, lo que pasa es, yo voy a hablar en inglés para que los otros comprendan.
Sí, sí, yo entiendo más de lo que hablo.
Sí, qué bueno.
Sí, sí.
So she was saying that when she was about 15 years old, she was having those dreams with her mother, and her mother was still alive, but somehow she was dreaming about picking up a phone and talking to her mother, and in her interpretation, because that's something that we need to keep in mind when sometimes when we dream about things, our dream is like a medium mystic meeting. We interpret that message according to our best way to understand or to hold that memory. So the mediumistic messages evidently will suffer from influence from the mediums, because that's the way that the medium interprets the message. Same way happens to our dreams when we do our astral, we visit our soul, visits other realms, visits other beings or our relatives. When we are back to our body, we bring memories about that encounter, but those memories, they are an interpretation of what actually happened. So she was saying, I was 15 years old, I was having this dream, talking to my mother via telephone, and my mom was talking from heavens. It was her way to interpret that the mother was in heaven, well, the mother was in the spiritual realm. And what is interesting is she was saying, well, back then telephone was not something like so common as it is today. It was rare. It was not really, they didn't have phone in their house. So, but now, recently, like a year ago, Sonia Rinaldi, she was able to record images and voice messages. And then she's saying, okay, how could that be? You know, a 50-year-old daughter having dreamings with the mother, saying that, okay, so they will be talking, via phone. Well, what happens is our soul knows better what is the plan for us, right? So before we reincarnate, we know in a very high level, but we know what is the plan for our incarnation. We have this idea, we participate in that meeting when we agree on the plan for our reincarnation. So you probably were afraid of losing your mother, being that so young, but then it's like your conscious was saying to you, that's okay, we can still talk to our beloved ones, because there is always, they do not die, they just move to a different level, to a different realm, right? So, but the thing is, your soul know better what is everything, what is your past, what is your present, what it is in your future. I had dreams as well about future things, things that are going to happen, or things that is happening in another side of the world with people that I don't meet every day. But the thing is, our soul, they know better, because when we sleep, we fall asleep, we go to places, we meet other people, and we retrieve information that, you know, we cannot know for sure. We cannot know because, you know, we have our limitations. You know, back then you were just a 15-year-old girl, you cannot know all of that. But, you know, when your soul, you know, free up from the body, I do not know how to say this, but during an astral projection, then yeah, you can be aware of so many things, just talking to your spiritual guides or your mentors or meeting with other people. So and
¿Hay alguna, reencarnamos para pasar una experiencia en la vida? ¿Cuál sería el objetivo de haber soñado algo que yo iba a vivir?
Okay, yes, so she's asking, okay, so what is the reason for a 15-year-old girl to have such a dream and years later confirm that dream was actually, she was seeing the future, right? So to me, my interpretation about this is a confirmation to you. This is to strengthen your faith and for you to share the same experience with other people to strengthen their faith. So more and more we see those events where we confirm that, one, we are not alone. Two, we have a plan. We are not just here just by chance. We have a plan. And three, we can count on the spiritual realm. They are here. They are with us. They kind of help us on this journey. And what you lived and your experience is confirming that. Once more, it's confirming, you know,
Ana, hay un problema pequeño con tu historia, y eso es que cuando se experimenta el sueño del futuro, no se sabe qué es el futuro hasta que tal futuro llega. Así que no es muy útil.
No, yes, for her, when she was 15-year-old, the objective, the goal is for her now. Because now she is mature enough to understand. She has all the information. Now she can understand better. Yeah.
Sí, porque en aquella época, hacía poco que teníamos teléfono, mucho menos imaginar que se utilizaría para una experiencia como esta. Entonces, si reencarnamos sin saber lo que vamos a vivir, de repente yo tengo una experiencia que la voy a vivir en el futuro. Entonces, hoy es como que me cayó la moneda así porque quedé impresionada. Hasta que no pasa, a uno le parece que, fue un sueño. No, pero entonces realmente venimos, es difícil para mí encontrar el significado con palabras porque no es solamente una vivencia,
No.
Es experiencia, te lleva a decir, lo logré, no lo logré, lo hice bien, lo hice mal, o sea, esto estaba planeado.
Sí.
Y yo
Calma, calma, Maria. You
estoy...
don't have to meet all your challenges in this life.
Yes.
You present yourself with situations which you think are adequate for you. And so you meet what challenges you can and you go around and avoid the ones you can't. And that's what other lives are for.
Yes.
So take it easy.
Sí,
Don't have to win all your challenges in a
Yeah.
single life.
Yeah, and like I said, I guess to me, the way that I interpret this is a confirmation to you. Perhaps you had you requested, or you had a problem trying to how can I say, you didn't trust on the planning, or you were kind of not so certain of the future for you. And what happened to you is really a very nice confirmation that you are not alone, and you have to keep faith, because you have people looking after you. You have mentors, you have a spiritual guide. There was a plan for you, and that plan will unfold, will happen no matter what. So it's just a confirmation for you to say, keep faith, and keep it strong, because this is real.
yeah.
Right?
Es bien difícil porque justo en una época de tanto dolor, y dolor por mí, pero también para que no te den la posibilidad de que él no sufra, que él no haya fallecido y que esté sufriendo.
Ujú.
Y compartir sobre todo, porque a mí me hizo muy bien saber las experiencias de otras personas, porque conocer todo lo que pasa con otras personas me da tranquilidad en decir, bueno, Guillermo está pasando por lo mismo, mamá también, yo también, y bueno, no sé, realmente fue una situación que me contuvo mucho además.
Sí, sí,
Me
sí.
contuvo mucho.
Right, so
Perdona que río, pero claro que todo es confuso porque no se entiende nada bien hasta que después, cuando llegamos a casa y tenemos el subdicho Life Review, la revisión de la vida, entonces sí se entiende todo lo que hemos planeado y lo que hemos conseguido. Y eso pasa a toda la gente con buena voluntad y que son más o menos humanos. This happens to, the life review happens to everybody who is pretty much a decent human.
yeah.
And then everything becomes clear
Mhm.
as you match it to the plan you made for yourself. And of course, you've got your friends and your guides around that you can now see and talk to in a normal way. So don't worry about it. Don't fret about it. It's going to be clear when you get home. And, you know,
Yes.
you don't know if you're going home tomorrow or in 20 years,
Yeah.
whatever, you know,
Yeah.
easy,
Yeah.
easy, take it easy. Avoid all the challenges you possibly can.
No es fácil, no. Muy complicado. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Giles, you were the last one, so would you please read the answer to us?
Sure. Why do we sometimes find individuals as cruel as savages in the most advanced societies? I would call that savage individuals, savage, cruel individuals. Just as you may find rotten fruit on a tree flourishing with healthy fruit, there are wolves in sheep's clothing wearing the cloak of civilization. Low spirits may incarnate among more advanced human beings in the hope of advancing themselves. However, if the trial is too difficult, their rudimentary nature prevails. Well, I would like to expand on that by saying that well, I've said it already. They may be a perfectly well-advanced spirit, obviously not a highly advanced spirit, or they wouldn't get into this trouble. And they then are full of ego and pride and think they can meet challenges more than they can handle.
Yeah.
And then they get unbalanced. And I think that's often the case with politicians. I might as well throw this in while I'm at it. Is they're not bad people to start with. They get into it and then discover what's going on. And then bit by bit, they have a choice, either leave it or join in.
Yeah.
And most of them, of course, say, oh, well, I mean, I met one that left it. He said, I was a town commissioner for 2 years. I said, what happened? He said, I couldn't stand it. They're all so venal. I left. I was amazed to hear that. That must happen to more than one, to many people. I mean, I hesitate to put a percentage on it. But well, your guess is as good as mine, because what we cannot do is form opinions about other people's incarnations.
Very well said.
Unless we happen to be a realized grand master or mistress, and we can actually see what the story is.
Exactly.
But for most of us, it's just a closed book. We just take what we can get, and if we don't like the look of somebody, avoid them. And if we like the look of somebody, get as near as possible and see if you can get the goodness out of them by sharing it with touch.
Yeah, and I see the beauty of that. You know, we all have a dark side and a bright side, and but the beauty of looking at the bright side, holding on to it, and not judging the dark side that we have. Just accepting and say, well, whatever, we are all evolving. We are all trying. So, right? So again, love is the answer for everything, because only love can really overcome the judgment that we might have in regards to the dark side of other people, even ourselves, our own dark side, right? So how many times we kill the hope of somebody with a single word? We say something that we really do not mean, but we say it in the moment. And how many times we hurt somebody else, you know, with this. We do not mean bad thing. We are not mean people, but sometimes happens. Hyacinth.
Yes, absolutely. What I am so disturbed about is that I have never heard so many people saying, I hate this person, I hate that person, with venom. I've never heard it before, but I hear it all the time, every day, for people. Oh, I hate this person, I hate that person.
Yeah.
And so it is only love that can transmute the bad. It is only love.
Yeah, to begin with, I remember when I was very young, I remember my grandmother saying, because I said, oh, I hate such a thing. And my grandmother called my attention and said, do not mention that word, especially if you're talking about people, because this is so strong, such a powerful word, and you do not mean it. Believe me, you do not mean it. So be careful. Do not mention that word so easily. And since then, I remember, yeah, and then she was saying, you may not approve, may not
Yes.
like it, but say
Mhm.
it. You don't like it, you do not approve, but do not say, I hate it. And I remember saying the same thing to my kids, because like I said, Hyacinth, it's so easy to give in and just go with the flow and say, I hate,
Yes,
right?
yes. Can I say something here about this? I put the link
Yes, please.
to Raunelina. Now, I have a problem because when I wrote it and I'm looking at it, I
Mhm.
wasn't sure whether it was an I or an L. And so what I am telling you, that the link that I said is correct.
Okay.
It is HTTPS U2B stroke small e, big L, big I, R, small r, big Z,
Mhm.
small g, 8, small k, small a, small q, big M.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I got it now.
Good.
Well, 4:17, folks, I'm tired. I probably will take a nap because I've been traveling the whole night. I just arrived from Brazil this morning, 5 a.m. today.
Mhm.
And but I want to say welcome to Maria Castro, my relative. I'm so happy you are here with us.
Thank
So I can train my Spanish. And guys, I'm happy to meet you all again. I hope to see you next Saturday. It will be
Okay.
a wonderful lecture with Dr. Iandoli, and I hope to see you soon.
Mhm.
Love you
Querida
all.
María, ha sido un placer conocerte. Nos veremos otro día, quizás. Bye.
Wow, Giles, I'm amazed. You have a wonderful Spanish. Yay. Congratulations.
Bye.
Okay,
to
right.
meet
Bye-bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
you.